2, 1. Alright, welcome everybody to the second episode of EH Films. Today I am joined by Samsonite Bricks.
Hello.
If you want to tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I am a currently not very active channel, but that's just because it's a busy time of year. I'm hoping to start putting out more content. I want to, my basic goal right now in my collecting sphere is to finish, or at least get my city into a presentable state, and then I want to do videos on that. But right now it's a genuine mess. I'm actually working on it right now while we're having this discussion because
Oh,
I
really?
finally got some stuff that I needed for it. Some
That's
plates, so I'm starting to
So you're planning on doing some
reset.
city updates and tours and stuff like that? Kind of like
Yeah.
Jang Bricks a little bit.
Well, yeah, I kind of want to, like, back in December it was in a really good spot,
Mm-hmm.
but then got messed up. I was going to do like a kind of nice POV shots, like by putting my phone camera down like on the street level, so it kind of actually like, and then I was gonna like do it with music and stuff. I just never got around to it, and now
Yeah.
it's a mess, so I need to update it again.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But
I'm excited to see you put out some more videos. I've
well,
enjoyed
I actually
some of the.
I recorded. Yeah, go ahead.
I've enjoyed some of the past videos that you've made. They're just a lot more less commercialized, if that makes sense, than some of the other Lego YouTubers that make videos.
Yeah,
It seems a little bit
it's
more
not. It's not
natural.
about the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about the. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's not about the sets itself necessarily. It's more about the.
Just kind
I
of
guess
like
the experience.
yeah, exactly.
Like what Greg does. Yeah,
A little bit, yeah.
it's a bit more. Yeah.
But
Okay.
you were saying something, I thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say I did way like 2 months ago now. I think I told you this before, but I recorded when I was tearing apart my city
Mm-hmm.
to work on it. I recorded like the taking apart
Like a time
and all that.
lapse,
So I have
sort of.
no, just like I recorded what it looked like before, so
Oh,
people could see the change when it was done.
I
So,
see.
but it's been 2 months since I recorded that, and it's
You can still
still
upload
not.
it. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know if I'm going to tell everyone it was 2 months ago that I shot that first bit of footage. I don't know.
so yeah, but I'll have your channel link down in the subscription, and you're also, or the description, and you're also somewhat active on Instagram.
Yes,
As
yeah.
I see sometimes.
Samsonite bricks.
Samsonite Bricks. I'll put
Uh,
that down there as well. But yeah, I mean, I like the photos that you take out there. I'm pretty big on
yeah,
the photography with the Lego and kind of bringing them out and putting them in nature and stuff like that. So I like those shots, but I've seen some of the shots, especially the one with the YouTubers around was it the Lego store?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The set from last year. Yeah,
I really like that one. I love some of the custom minifigs in there to resemble
yeah.
their sig figs.
Well, I
So
mean, some of them were just the
yeah,
big figs, but
but with like Greg and Clark and stuff. I thought I
yeah.
like
Well, Greg, I just used the popcorn card figure because he pretty much has kind of said that's his sig
yeah,
fig a few times.
yeah. But yeah. So Toy Story 4. Um,
What a movie!
what a movie. So
What what an experience.
I personally enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure you did too. Uh,
Yeah.
Overall, kind of enjoyed it.
Overall, yes. Yeah, no, I loved it, but
Yeah.
it takes sometimes things have to take a while to really sink in.
Yeah, certain movies have to do that. Um, and I kind of agree. I had to keep thinking. I kept thinking about it the first time that I saw it. I saw it a couple of days after it came out, and I kept thinking about it the whole day because I wasn't really sure how I thought about it. And then I saw it again, and I like it. I think I liked it a bit more that last time, but there are some problems with this movie, with any movie really. There comes some problems. There's very rarely a movie that I believe is perfect, or has no flaws. But there were. So you said that there were earlier. You said that there were 3 things that you kind of had problems with the movie. So
Yeah.
If you want to bring those up.
I'll go over them quickly. Number 1, the lack of a real. I said, when I was thinking about my thoughts, I said that it was lack of a real villain, but I've kind of changed my view on that, thinking about it a little more. It's true that they pull the redemption act with the villain a bit earlier, so like in the other movies, the villains don't redeem themselves, and it just kind of feels they do that a lot in movie in children's entertainment now, because I guess it's it is a positive message to send that no one's ever fully.
I think it's a way of them teaching that you shouldn't always
give up on people.
You shouldn't give up on people, and especially with stuff nowadays that certain families and stuff go through, and then how their children could have an impact on other children, like especially in school environments with bullies and stuff. To always kind of take a step back and look at the broader picture, I guess, or bigger picture of what could be causing this person to kind of behave this way. Because with Toy Story 3, they had Lotso kind of live the rest of his life tied to the truck, and then Toy Story 2 had the prospector go to the little girl, and Sid was eventually just scarred for the rest of his life, probably.
And pretty much became a garbage man, because he's the garbage man in the 3rd movie.
Yeah, with the skull shirt.
Yeah, so his life was kind of tanked by that.
Yeah.
But on thinking about it a little more, I've decided that the real issue isn't with the fact that the villain, it's just the fact that overall the film doesn't have as high of stakes as the other movies. I know, because I mean, yes, the other 3, they all take place over very short amounts of time.
Yeah.
But this one, it just feels like, basing on how the movie ends, there's just less stakes. Like last one, they were all determined. They had differences in ideology, so Woody left and they all stayed at the daycare, and then he had to, of course, come back and save them. But whereas in this one, the entire goal of the film is to save one character and get this one character back, but what happens to the other characters don't really matter as much.
I guess there are some sort of stakes, though, towards the end when they're leaving, somewhat.
Yeah.
The whole RV kind of fiasco, I thought that was fairly, the first time seeing that, I remember being on the edge of my seat a little bit. I mean, I knew that things would most likely end up okay, but I still had there were still some hair-raising moments where because in movies like that, time just moves so slow, even though in reality they would have never been able to get there in time.
Yeah.
I think.
Actually, speaking of that, if we can take a little pause, just something unrelated to Toy Story 4. But I'm just thinking about that, movies in general, time, taking time, weirdly. I actually just finished rewatching The Dark Knight Rises. and
Yeah.
that has one of the longest minutes in a movie ever.
With the bomb.
The bomb, it goes from like 11:35 to 10:30, like 11 minutes and 35 seconds to 10
And
minutes and 30 seconds.
and he
It
still
takes place over 4 minutes.
yeah, and he still quote unquote dies. Technically, I don't really know how people perceive that. I perceived it as him dying and Alfred hallucinating. I never thought that
I
he
guess
was
it
still
depends
alive.
on how you, yeah.
Because it seems a little too. I don't know. I mean, who
Well,
knows?
it's like Inception too. Christopher Nolan does that a lot.
Yeah.
Like Inception, you don't know really whether or not he's awake or not at the end.
Yeah.
If you've seen that.
Inception's pretty. I haven't seen that one in a while. But yeah. So kind of going off task or
Yeah. I mean, you can
track
edit
there.
this bit out. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
I just thought of that because of what you said about time.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I guess. I mean, yeah, there are stakes in the movie, but it just. I don't know. The more I think about it, it's just there's some stuff in the movie. There's a lot of stuff in the movie that works, but then there's some stuff that I can't really put my finger on it. It just doesn't feel as genuine in the other three as it did in the other three movies.
So what kind of stuff do you think didn't feel as genuine?
Well, I think we should wait for that because it's more about the end of the movie.
Okay. All right. So I'll
We'll
move over
come
to
back
that.
to that.
I also have down here on my list, we got side characters. So, side characters or new characters. So, I'll maybe just change that and put it as new characters. So, we get a lot of new characters. I think the most that we've gotten, not counting every single toy that appears in
Yeah,
side.
because like the third one introduces a lot of characters too, but they're not important anywhere near as important.
I forgot his name, but the Just Too Good bug.
Twitch? Oh, that figure's not important at all. No,
He
reason.
doesn't do anything.
No, but in the figure,
toys.
nothing special about that.
Yeah. But I think Toy Story 3 introduces the most new characters, but a majority of them have nothing to do.
Toy Story 4
Toy Story 4
introduces
the most that actually have stuff to do. So,
yeah.
Let's just go down the list here. So we got Duke Kaboom, played by Keanu, or voiced by Keanu Reeves. I personally really enjoyed his character. I thought he was hilarious. Don't really see Keanu in a whole lot of comedic roles. I've seen him in Bill and Ted. That's basically. I saw him in Bill and Ted before I knew that was Keanu Reeves and who was in Bill and Ted. So I thought that was a weird thing to find out later. But I've seen him in the John Wick films. I feel like I've seen him in something else. But
The Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix. Yeah. So he doesn't always really play. He hasn't really been able to kind of show his comedic side a little bit, but I think he did really well in this film. I don't think there was a single joke that he made that I didn't laugh or chuckle at. I just think his whole delivery, his line delivery was kind of a little bit exaggerated. And just his whole character is great with his previous owner, Rijan, I think.
Yeah.
The whole flashback was, I think, one of the best moments in the movie. I think that was great. But, yeah. So, what do you think
I will say,
Kaboom?
The thing that I always find funny about Keanu Reeves is a lot of the characters he's played in recent years have been a bit more tougher, like assassins and agents and chosen ones. But like the thing about this is that this is actually if you look into stuff about Keanu Reeves, he's constantly listed as one of like the most pleasant celebrities in the world.
Yeah.
So like this role is like actually what Keanu Reeves is like in real life.
Yeah.
Almost.
Kind of.
So that's why I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh yeah, there's so many stories about Keanu Reeves, and the stuff that he's done, because he had a pretty rough life for as much as I can remember. But,
yeah, he had some rough years in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
But
what were you gonna say?
no. Well, are we gonna move into other characters?
Yeah.
Or,
So if you want to say something else about Duke Kaboom or Keanu.
No, I'm good.
All right. So we got Ducky and Bunny, voiced by Key and Peele, or Keegan Michael Key and Jordan Peele. Very good comedians, and they have worked together previously for a good number of years. I think that out of everyone, other than the main cast that's been there for forever, I think they had the most fun. It seemed like they had a lot of fun recording their lines, since they already know each other pretty well, having worked on Key and Peele for so many years. I think that they what's his name? Do you know the director of this film?
I think his name's Josh
Cooley. Josh
Cooley.
Cooley. Yeah. I think Josh Cooley kind of let them take the reins of their own characters. I'm not really saying that there was improv there, but I heard something about
I do know
he let them create their jingle, or that little song that they sing on top of the roof.
Yeah.
I know that he let them do that without kind of improv. But I think they just kind of let them kind of go wherever they wanted with them, and I think they were as a result, they ended up being really good comedy or comedic relief. So
two things with them.
Mm-hmm.
One, I know we were just saying about the bond the two actors have. What's interesting is that, at least from the B-roll stuff that I saw, is that, like most anime movies, they recorded their lines all separately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even the two of them were separated.
Yeah.
So they had to know each other so well to be able to riff off each other even when they're not together.
Yeah.
So
and
it's always kind of, when you know that that's how they record animated voices, because like a lot of people don't know that. They think they just all record them together. So when you
sometimes
look at how much
there was times, and I saw from some of the past Toy Story films, they would Tim Allen and why can't I think of his name?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah, Tom Hanks. They recorded in the same sound studio in the same room, sometimes to kind of mesh off each other or rub off each other pretty well. I think that works fine when you're having like a direct conversation, because if you're not doing that, you have to know pretty well, and usually they have Cooley or whoever's directing an animated film read off the other lines on the script, so they can.
He was reading the other lines, yeah.
Yeah, so they can kind of go off that a little bit better, like they're actually talking to a person. Because if they didn't have that, it would be pretty awful to listen to. Because if you think about it, their tones would be all different at some points. And yeah, so but sometimes they do put them in the same recording booth. So I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, they kept all of them pretty separated.
Yeah. The other thing about them is that I will say, like, this is one of those times where I was pleasantly surprised with the movie.
Yeah.
Because I like some of their sketches they've done and all that, but I didn't really think I would enjoy them in the Toy Story universe. Yeah. And that first clip we had with them back in November, where they were talking about the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were like making the Infinity and Beyond jokes.
Yeah.
I did not like that clip. I didn't think it was that funny, and I didn't
Yeah.
think I was gonna like the characters. So I was honestly very surprised at how much I enjoyed them in the actual movie.
Yeah, I was somewhat surprised. Not entirely because I
I mean, not
I
yeah, like
partially enjoyed that little TV spot type thing from a while ago. I thought some of the jokes were kind of pandering and pretty
yeah.
underwhelming.
Well, that's the thing.
But
They kind of felt juvenile, and I was like, well, this isn't what Toy Story is.
yeah, but I
But
I um I was just excited to see both of them because I'm a huge fan of Key and Peele, and uh, Jordan Peele went off to
yeah, he's
as you
not
know,
doing as much
direct and
as
write
directing.
Get Out and Us. So he's moved to,
It's,
and isn't he the creator of the new Twilight Zone?
Twilight Zone. Yep.
So
Yep. Well,
he's
he's involved.
yeah,
I don't know if he's the creator. But
producer, screenwriter, something.
I think when it's a reboot, they don't really call it creator because it
Yeah,
would have been created by whoever created it originally.
yeah. But he's moved over to more horror and thriller, which has been working out for him quite a bit. I enjoyed Get Out quite a bit, and I liked Us not as much as Get Out, but I still was glad that I ended up seeing it. I haven't seen any of the Twilight Zone episodes. I heard they're okay, not really anything too special. But I was just kind of happy to see him back in his roots a little bit as a comedic performer instead of going
Yeah.
more the horror route, because you haven't really seen him do much with comedy in the past couple of years since he's been pretty busy in the directing or the director's chair. So
Yep.
all right, so we got Giggle McDimples.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a character that I keep forgetting was in the movie. Honestly,
same. Because
I
she
liked
didn't
her,
she
but
didn't really have a part. She didn't really do much.
I liked the voice performance. But yeah, it was just
I
she
like
was the one that left the least impression on me out of all the new characters. She left the least.
Yeah, I sort of liked the performance. I thought it could be a little too peppy sometimes, a little too hyperactive, and I think that's what they were going with the character. Um, but it was also her jokes were fine. I didn't really laugh at anything that she said. Um, she was fine. I mean, it's better than being bland and really annoying or something. So that's something that she wasn't. She
Yeah.
wasn't. I didn't personally find her annoying or anything. I just found most of her jokes to be okay. I didn't
Yeah.
laugh at any of them. They were serviceable, but overall, she didn't really have much to do anyway. So, she just. I mean, she's a very small character. She's
Yeah.
small physical wise too, so
Yep.
she just didn't really do much. So I don't really have much to say about her. But
No.
yeah, we got Gabby, who is the quote unquote villain of this movie, or the antagonist. I think more of a antagonist that kind of leans more to a protagonist near the end,
Yep.
near the final 20 minutes, maybe. So we got, and we can kind of get into that later because I have some of that stuff written down. But she has a pretty kind of gross, in my opinion. I thought it was fairly like a pretty morbid thing to almost have or want surgery performed on someone else to acquire
The voice
basically an
box.
organ of
Yeah.
a toy.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of somewhat morbid of a movie. I kind of thought it was a little weird. She was shown to be a bit manipulative Um, especially near the end, if Woody never agreed to, what happens where he gives up the piece in his voice box that she doesn't have. I feel like if he didn't agree, she would just come off as manipulative by pulling out all these memories from Woody's years with Andy. So yeah, but really, I didn't hate her. I didn't really love her. She was okay. I felt sympathy for her towards the end. So I guess that is something that her character did.
Yeah.
We can get into that a little bit later.
Like I said earlier, they kind of pull the redemption act, which doesn't always work. I mean, it's not that I don't like it when they do it. So like in this movie, it works, and they make you feel sorry for the character, and you're happy to see them get some kind of resolution. But that's more of a critique on like family filmmaking in general these days too. Not always have a clear villain.
Who else? I think
Forky.
Oh, I keep forgetting about Forky for some reason.
The character they built the entire movie around.
I don't even find him forgettable. I always for some reason I kind of, because they advertised him so much that I kind of pictured him as already part of the
already
gang.
Being part of the group.
Yeah, that he's not really a new character for some reason. Yeah, he's fine. He's great. Good. I'd say good. I was worried that he was gonna be quite annoying, but I love the way that he moves. It's pretty natural, that a way that you would think a spork with a popsicle stick for legs would kind of move in a way, kind of wobbling over. I love the scene when they're on the side of the road. It's kind of like the early morning, or kind of like really early in the morning. It's just him and Woody, and he's being dragged. His feet are kind of like skimming
he kind of moves a little bit and then falls over, and then needs to be dragged more, and
kind of like skims the pavement, and then he gets back up on his feet, hobbles for 3 seconds, then falls back over. I thought that was great. When he kept falling back into the trash can, he'd kind of take a few steps and then just kind of fall over and tumble down off the bed into the trash can. I thought that was great. They did a lot of stuff where it's not like a joke delivered by dialogue. It's just more is it a physical joke? Is that what you
violent comedy? Yeah,
physical comedy.
Comedy. Yeah.
Or it's just someone's movements and physical actions that make that specific scene funny. Even some of his line delivery when they're in the Gabby's little stroller carriage thing, and she plays her voice box, and it's all messed up. And he says something along the lines of "Wow, you gotta fix that," but it's sort of in a kind of a naive voice, kind of
you really should get that fixed.
Yeah, oh, you should fix that. Something along the lines. I thought that was great.
I think actually, out of all the new actors, I think getting Tony Hale to play Forky was one of the better casting choices.
Do you watch?
Because if you Arrested Development,
yeah, I love that show. It's great.
Yeah, he's pretty much just playing an extension of Buster.
Yeah,
in the movie.
I think he was a great pick for Forky as himself. And sort of how he kind of has that realization of he doesn't fully understand how he's a toy or really what a toy is, but he basically perceives it as being someone's trash. So something that
Yeah.
they can count on and that they feel safe with. So that's kind of I don't really know if he ever fully learns that he's a toy or what a toy really is. Maybe he does.
They kind of, the end, like, something, that scene, one of the post-credit scenes kind of,
shows that he did, I guess.
he understands
Yeah.
what his
Somewhat.
place is.
But, yeah. I think that's it for all the side characters, other than, like, Combat Carl and stuff, who we've seen before.
Yeah, which I found that nice, because not everyone,
Saw that.
it was the nice, yeah, it's a nice little, what's the word?
Inclusion?
It's
Reference?
for the fans that know everything.
I guess so. And it's
Like
good for
like
people who didn't even see it, too, because I think some of the parts with the three of them, even though they were barely in it, were the best, with the Arctic variation of the Combat Carl not getting his high five, and he eventually does at the end. I think that's...
Yeah.
I love, like, when he got left hanging, the whole audience of my theater just started erupting in laughter.
It's funny.
I don't know, just I think it's another thing with the physical comedy, just kind of the way that they move.
Yeah.
They're kind of all kind of stiff, so I think that added to part of it. But
you gotta wonder, is that the same Combat Carl that we've seen before? I mean, it's the same voice, but they all sound the same.
I think the Combat Carl that we had, I think he was Jesse's height, right?
What?
I'm pretty sure he was Jesse's height. The Combat Carl in the short.
I mean, it's not the little one. Like, it's not. I know there is a smaller version in that short, but
yeah, there is.
He would have had a higher voice.
Yeah.
He just talked the same.
Yeah.
I just mean, like, is that the same exact one, or is it another one? Because at the end of that short, the other one was like going home to his owner.
I think it's another one, because I think it's like a thing with G.I. Joes and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I never had G.I. Joes personally, but I've seen pictures of ones from back in the day. They used to have like the full size doll G.I. Joes, and then they'd have like the action figures as well. So I think it's just something like that. So they probably had many of those, and that's just one of them, because I don't really know how that Combat Carl would get there, and if he would even he happened to abandon.
He wanted to get home.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. Yeah.
If he happened to abandon the larger one, they'd probably say something about that. Even though it probably wouldn't make too much sense, since I'm guessing
people who haven't seen it.
A good number of people who are seeing Toy Story 4 didn't see the short from like 4 years ago or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But so that's all the side characters. We can kind of move into the main characters a little bit. We got Woody, who's I think the main character of this movie.
He's always the main character.
Characters. Yeah. So he's usually
this one more than anyone
character.
Feels like a story.
But I think this is Woody's story. He's usually I think him and Buzz are kind of equal parts in most of the Toy Story movies, but I think Woody completely takes the reins here, and he's definitely the main character, undisputed. And Buzz kind of takes a side role. He's there from part of the adventure in the antique store, but eventually leaves the gang have their falling out.
Yeah.
But I want to get to that part. But so we got we got Woody. Buzz is dumbed down a little bit. He has less to do.
Yeah. But that's just what they've been doing for the last two.
I guess so.
If you look back, the third one and the second, the third movie and the fourth movie, both kind of dilute Buzz from a. He's still confident. He's still full of courage, but just made him a little more dumber. Like where he's more. He's okay with not. He doesn't really always take on the leadership role in these two. Whereas in the second one, he was fully competent in leading the mission to save Woody.
Yeah.
I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really have a problem with him being dumbed down. I thought it was a slight change of character. Even the first time that I saw it, but it didn't really prove a problem because even in the kind of falling action section of the movie, I think before the climax, we have some scene, like a scene between Woody and Buzz where Buzz kind of maintains his self-being like how he was in Toy Story 2, where he gives that talk to Woody.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of what we saw there, but I think he has been dumbed down a little bit for the younger children, but I don't really see that as a problem if we can still get these kind of more down-to-earth scenes with him and Woody. So I kind of think that's a good meeting ground or middle ground for his character.
Okay.
But I think we can put basically Jesse, Rex, Mr. Potato Head, all of those guys in one category as having nothing to do. Jesse,
really
I think
involved.
out of that gang has the most to do by popping the tires and all that stuff.
Yep.
Because I feel like she was part of the trio, so I think they wanted to keep her more relevant than the rest of the gang. But really, they just kind of stood back in the RV and didn't really do anything. We didn't cut back to them a whole lot, which I thought would have been good. It gives us more time to focus on the main characters in this movie with Bo Peep and stuff like that. Because if they kept cutting back, there really wouldn't be anything for them to do, and the writers would have had to find something that they would have to do to keep that B plot interesting. But it probably would have ended up becoming or feeling fairly forced and unneeded. So I'm glad that they didn't really do anything with them if they didn't have to. But
I mean, at the end of the day, you can kind of look at it as Toy Story 3 is the end to the story of the toys and Andy. And because this one is so focused on Woody, you can kind of also look at Toy Story 3 as an ending for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're in this movie, but, they're nowhere near as involved as they have been in the past. So it kind of just lets you move on from them in a way.
So, Bo Peep now. We got Bo Peep. She has been improved quite a bit. She used to just kind of play this on and off role with Woody as basically love interest, but then you see her kind of go off and kind of flirt with Buzz a little bit in the first one. So she's kind of like a mixed bag, I think. There, but here she definitely plays a very important role. She's been, I think her character's been upgraded more for younger girls to look up to in a way, because she's pretty adventurous now and she can handle herself quite literally, and she can just kind of take care of business, and I think they ended up transforming her character pretty well. I enjoy where they went with her. I think the opening scene in this movie was perfect in order to kind of set up where she would go from there. And I think if I want to talk about the opening scene,
speaking of that opening scene, few things. Number one, something that is I always find interesting is with the evolution of the craft and of animation, it can lead to some good things and some things that aren't always the best.
Mm-hmm.
Negative, a con is the fact that um, because the animation technology has evolved so much over the years, Andy looks a lot more realistic now. Which on one hand is good, but on the other hand, there's no consistency with the way Andy looks in the original films compared to this one.
And 3. 3 looks different,
Yeah.
too.
To the point that I actually saw a theory before the movie that someone thought that that kid wasn't Andy because it
mm,
looked that different.
yeah, I don't... I
Which is
feel
just,
like... I feel like...
I think that's a little far.
I
Like,
feel
I
like...
knew it was Andy,
I feel like if
but
you put the model from 95 into whatever they use now to create models now, you would come out with something somewhat close to what they resembled. And I mean, when you're making a movie that's a counterpart to a movie now that is 25 years old, you're gonna have differences. I mean, even
yeah,
with the second movie, they already had to remodel Woody and Buzz and all the toys
everyone.
because
Yeah.
everything changed that drastically by
I
that
was
time.
actually when I rewatched the trilogy before the new one came out, I was honestly surprised because you know the technology's evolved, but it was the first time just because of for timing. I watched the second one immediately after the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing how just in those 4 years how much the technology evolved because
Yeah.
their lighting is better, the shading is so much like so phenomenal in comparison. Like, but one good thing though with the animation that I think is worth pointing out, I read somewhere the opening of the film with it being set on in a rainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they had the idea to do something like that. I think in the third movie,
Mm-hmm.
but even 9 years ago, they couldn't make the technology work.
Yeah.
So that scene wasn't even possible when they made the third one,
Yeah.
which wasn't even that long ago in the grand scheme of things compared to the original.
Even though they technically did make a rain scene in the flashback
Yeah,
of the
but
third.
but like
Yeah, I know.
but like they wanted like with like the drops
Yeah.
going down the faces and all that.
Yeah. Um. So about the opening scene, I think it's kind of a great climactic start to the movie. It kind of leads on somewhat of stakes, even though RC wasn't in the third movie. Um, so you know that he was given away or something during that time, but it does give somewhat stakes because you thought maybe he could have been swept away here. Woody could have failed, which could have been an interesting thing to see
It would have been a very dark way to open it.
playing up to him having to save another toy now, like 10 years later. But
Yeah, I honestly think that would have been a kind of cool thing. If it would have been sad, it would have
mhm,
been a very dark way to open the movie.
yeah,
But thinking about how most of his mission in the movie is to get Forky home, if you kind of splice that in, if they had opened the movie with them losing the toy, then it would have made his mission feel even more powerful in this one because the last time he, one of the last times he tried desperately to do that, he failed.
yeah. But then we get this confrontational scene with some dialogue between Bo and Woody, and it's pretty emotional. So Bo is given
You still
away.
talking about the opener? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
opener.
Bo's given away. She's put in the box, and Woody slides the box underneath the car, and they have a talk. She comes to terms with what's going on now. She is basically fine with it because she understands that Molly grew up and she doesn't really need a nightlight anymore, so she needs to go to the next kid. So she kind of copes with that fairly quickly, and she tries to persuade Woody to go in, and basically right as he kind of almost puts himself into the box, he hears
Yeah.
Andy starting to freak out that he can't find Woody, and that basically shows Woody that he needs to be there for Andy, like, because
Yeah, I
Andy
do.
counts on
I
him so
really.
much. I really love the
That's why I really like that scene.
I
Yeah.
really love the emotion in that scene. I think it's played out pretty well, and just the look on Bo's face, kind of disappointment and also sadness at the same time, but also it's like a combination of three, where she's also kind of looking at Woody like, you should actually probably stay here, because I think Andy needs you quite a lot at this moment. So
That's that is. I really like the opening because I guess we can kind of go into the. We kind of need to go into the end to talk about why I like the opening.
yeah, and
And
then
it's
the kind of closing silhouette of them standing under the car, the beautiful rain animation there, and just the shot of the two of them kind of staring at each other. I think that is a great way to kind of finish off that scene and lead into kind of the start of this movie. But yeah, kind of we can move over to the or kind of near the end of the movie.
yeah.
So
Spoiler alert. Um, but the film ends with Woody finally making the choice to put himself
before
before like the humans, which is that honestly is part of where my trouble lies. I'm not upset with him wanting to stay with Bo, but it's just the first three movies have been about the fact that the toys they have that desire to be there for kids.
Well, now he's now he's gonna be there for other children, helping these
but
toys.
there's no attachment.
Yeah, but he came to terms after Bo talked with him that his attachment to Bonnie was not working, and that she was neglecting him, and that shows. I mean, she probably didn't. They said something about him not being played with for the past week or something like that, because she just leaves him there in the closet. Literally takes off his badge and puts on Jesse. So he basically doesn't really mean anything to Bonnie, really at the moment.
Which I think is hilarious, considering how much she kind of
wanted him in
guilted
the third.
Andy into giving him to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw it as Woody didn't really need to care about the child anymore. I think it was more his decision. He actually reconnected with the love of his life, and now he has the chance to spend the rest of his time with her. I think that that decision for him, especially after the journey that he goes through in this movie, is not out of character or any. I think it's the exact thing that he would have done either way.
Yeah.
So.
But the thing that I like about the ending is that it mirrors the opening in many ways. Like they use the same music at times, and there's a shot where he's on the awning of the caravan, and she's still on the roof of the carousel, but there's a barrier separating them.
Like the box.
And it's a complete reversal of it, where he's in the box, she's the one who's not, and he's trying to get her to come in. But of course, she won't. But what I like about going back to the opening is that the only reason he didn't jump in that box was because of Andy.
Yeah.
So I thought at first it was kind of sad that he was willing to leave his friends for like his family, just like on spur of the moment. But thinking about it more, sometimes that's how life is. So the fact that the only reason he couldn't do it is because he felt he had a moral obligation not to, but this time he didn't. And so that's when he made the decision. It's like one of those, it's a rare second chance. It's like if you have that decision that you regret for a long time, and then you have that rare second chance to make that decision,
Yeah,
you
you take that.
you're gonna take it.
Yeah, and I think there's another great scene in my opinion. I think maybe the best scene in this movie. So they do Kaboom, Ducky and Bunny, Buzz, Woody, Giggle McDimples, and Bo. I think that's everyone. But they all escape
Yeah.
the antique store. Basically, the gang's lowest moment. I think that
Rock bottom.
itself is the best. I think it's the best scene in any Pixar film. I think recently, I'd have to really watch every single Pixar movie again to really determine which scene in a Pixar movie is my favorite. But after thinking about every single Pixar movie that we've gotten recently, I think it's my personal favorite. So there's kind of a falling out between Bo and Woody, and Woody keeps asking, Bo keeps asking Woody why does he care so much to go after Forky and rescue him, and after repeatedly asking this question of Woody, he sort of breaks down. I think the first time that we've ever really seen that in this series, he almost breaks down into sadness in some sort of way, and says it's the only thing that I have left to do. Yeah. Basically implying that he deep down he knows that basically when he is done kind of saving Forky and retrieving him and bringing him back to Bonnie, that's basically the last time that he will have attention put on him, or that Bonnie will really ever recognize him. So he wants to do it and do it right, so that he can kind of fulfill that last kind of duty that he has.
Obligation. Yeah.
Like 100%, and I think that's great, because right as he says that, I can't 100% remember because it's been a couple days, but I can't remember if there was music in that scene. I want to think that there was some soft music or something, but it seems right as he says that line, the whole, like, everything in the audio just goes silent. Like, there's nothing. Like, even like the audience in the theater went dead silent. There wasn't, like, even the little children, the little kids that were in my theater that made some noise throughout some of them. It wasn't too bad, but even they were dead silent. So I thought that was probably the most impactful scene that I've ever experienced in a Pixar movie. And I think that was basically the scene that almost made me cry, because it made me finally realize why he really cared so much about this, and that he knew, even though he was arguing with her, that Bo was right, that he's the lost toy in the end, because he doesn't fully understand.
He doesn't have a purpose.
Yeah, that he doesn't have a purpose anymore, and you can see that with him calling Bonnie Andy and stuff like that early in the film. Basically showing that he
hasn't moved on.
He hasn't moved on, and that he can't really cope, that he doesn't have a purpose for Bonnie at the time. So I think that scene is definitely the best scene in the movie, in my opinion. But yeah.
Yeah, it's high up there.
That's kind of my opinion. But so the next thing I have on here, if you are basically done talking about the finale of the movie and kind of the rest of that, I want to kind of go into the Lego sets of Toy Story 4 and then closing statements. So,
Okay.
if you kind of want to go into that. So, you own most of the Toy Story 4 sets, to my knowledge.
Yep.
I don't own any currently. I ordered the Woody and RC set to get Woody, but yeah. So I didn't really want to have to buy that set, and I didn't because I technically got it for free with VIP points. So really no loss for me. But I personally did not like these sets. After watching the movie, it was mainly a mixture of, like, there was, I think, only one set, in my opinion, that I thought was somewhat accurate to the movie, and that is, like, the fairground carnival,
The large carnival.
the large,
Yep.
I think the largest set in the wave.
Yep.
I think all of the other ones were fairly inaccurate, either with minifigures included or just the whole set in general. Like, the RC is not in the movie at all. Really.
Aside from the opener.
Well, that whole scene, I guess, isn't in the movie. What else? The playground doesn't have Gabby Gabby in it in the actual film, and there's not really like a chase scene as depicted in that movie or in that set.
The one thing I do really like about that set, though, actually, is that I'm actually holding it right now. They have the I don't know what's called really. The spinning ride that
yeah, I know what you're
Woody lands in front of, and then it spins around and the kids are up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice because that's the big dramatic reuniting scene of the movie.
Yeah, but doesn't
So
that
it's kind of cool that at least that was.
Doesn't that set not even come with Woody? I thought it came with Buzz.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, personally, for me, that's my favorite. That or the Duke Kaboom suit set is my favorite wave, and it's not.
I think the Duke
necessarily...
Kaboom set is great. Like, if it wasn't like, if it was like an off-branded, if they didn't label it with Toy Story, they used to have a toy line for Toy Story. It was called. I was researching it a little bit, because I found my older Toy Story toys, like my Woody and my Buzz and stuff like that. And there was this line called Toy Story and Beyond, and it was like this Hasbro line. And so it started in 99 and ended in like 07 or something. And I think mine was like 2004 Woody or something. So it was basically this toy line in between the 2 and 3 kind of, where they had existing characters and just kind of made up stuff. Like, I had this Buzz Lightyear spaceship type thing with like this miniature Buzz Lightyear action figure. So if they did something like that and that was one of the sets, I think it would have been great. I think out of all of the sets, I like that one most because it seems the least like a junior set.
Yeah,
somewhat.
They did that with the Incredible sets. Did that last year too. The little rooftop one felt more.
Yeah.
Didn't feel as juniorized.
Yeah, but I honestly wish they didn't do junior sets for these properties anymore. I wish they just went back to regular, because there's, as much as there is a good amount of younger kids that this is probably their first Toy Story in theaters, there's also a huge audience of older kids who are now teenagers or adults who are going to see this movie, this might be their second time seeing a Toy Story movie in the theater, maybe third for some people.
This is the second one I saw in theaters, but it was the third I was alive for. So.
But yeah. So I think that they should just, for now on, change them back, because I would rather want these desirable minifigures in builds that I would actually want to buy and stuff that I actually want to display. I don't want to really display a bunch of juniors sets that have all these singular like wall pieces that make up a majority of the set. I think that's kind of a way to dumb down these ways. I feel like Lego knows somewhat that these are desirable characters for adults and teens
collectors
and stuff. So now they have.
I mean,
to
it
go
worked
and
for
get
me,
these
so
younger sets.
it worked on me. So
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised at how many junior sets I've ended up buying in the last year.
Yeah, I own
like-
one. I have the TIE Fighter one. It was like the winner.
Yeah.
I only
Yep.
got that for the. I thought the Outpost didn't look like a junior thing, like the little command center. I thought that looked okay. And then the Rebel Trooper. I thought that was.
Well, basically, yeah, I bought that set because I wanted to experiment because, like, I always kind of wanted to have, like, a few TIE Fighters in my collection, but budget does not allow me to buy 3 of the $90 solo ones.
Yeah.
90 of course here. So I don't know. I bought the one thinking maybe I'd get at least another one eventually. And I probably will, because I don't hate it. It's not the most accurate thing, but I honestly kind of think it's kind of clever for them to make smaller versions of these sets for kids that are just getting into Lego.
Yeah.
And then from a standpoint of someone, even like any kid who doesn't have a lot of money, an affordable way to get these iconic vehicles.
Or if they
think
could
it's a
do
good idea.
like, and you brought that up, and that makes me realize they could at least give adult and teen fans, I'd say at least 2 sets that are just regular builds for Toy Story, and then they could do like 4 that are juniors, or that's kind of what they did with the Lego Movie. They did 2 juniors, and then they did like 5 or so regular.
5?
4?
I think you mean 20.
For the first wave, right? They had the
first wave was like 20 sets.
They had the Unicaddy, they had the Sistar, they had the party thing, they had the
house.
I think they had like 8, 9, something like that.
Yeah. Like they released like 19 sets on January 1st for Lego Movie 2. So
yeah.
It's, there was like 1 junior set and then a bunch of little.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. Recently, I found that if I'm buying a set that I actually want, they're very niche sets. Like, I bought all those Star Wars sets for Star Wars Week, but and I enjoyed most of them.
You're not really buying stuff in like a full wave. Is that what you mean?
Well, no, I'm just not buying like things that. I'm buying a lot more stuff that's not. I don't know how to phrase it because, in recent year, I've only really had steady employment for the last 2 years. So before that, I could only afford to buy sets that I wanted from themes that I knew I liked. So Star Wars, Marvel, DC.
Yeah.
But now I'm able to branch out into all these other themes that I always like, stuff that I regretted not being into when I couldn't afford it. Like Toy Story, I only got like 3 or 4 of the original Toy Story sets, and they were all like the littlest one.
Yeah.
But so now my goal was to get all of them that I can right now because I can afford to.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm passionate about, and I can't afford to buy the old sets online. I'm trying to get a hold of Ham and Bullseye secondhand, but that's about it.
Well, some of them are somewhat cheap, and then others are expensive.
Yeah. I would like to complete the original wave, not the Toy Story 3 sets, but like the. I want to get the Constructabuzz because I have Zurg. I've had Zurg for years, but I never had Buzz. and I also would like to get the like Buzz's rocket,
Yeah.
and then like the
Oh,
Woody's roundup.
I've
But those
seen
ones are all.
the Buzz's rocket go for 30. Buy it now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
It's
use eBay quite a bit, but
out of the box. Yeah, no, use eBay for some of that stuff. Uh, I've looked. There a lot of them. I've been tempted by getting something. I probably will someday. Um,
yeah,
but a lot of them are sold out of the box in bags and stuff. And the pieces look to be in good condition. Everything
yeah.
looks there. They have the Zerg. They have the Buzz. They have the
Yeah,
Alien or
that's the
whatever.
thing. Sometimes the price goes way up because of Zerg.
Yeah, but they
That
have the
that
minifigs
figure can
there,
go.
and they're selling it for like $30, and I think that's around, maybe
Yeah.
that's a little
No,
bit
that's
less.
that's cheaper than what it was. I'm
Oh
pretty sure.
yeah,
Well, I guess
no,
Canada in Canada it was $40, so
so
maybe in America it was
it was
30.
30.
So
Yeah,
it's about
so
retail.
retail, I guess. Um, but yeah. So do you want to move to conclusions? Kind of closing statement type.
Okay. Yep.
So personally, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it had very good uh, comedic moments. I thought, except for the some of the already established characters that we know now, not really having enough screen time that gives time
Yeah.
for these newer characters that they introduced a lot of, and they all coming out of this movie. I think they all had fairly established characters, and they had some character arcs for mostly Duke Kaboom. I think out of all the new characters, I think he was the only one that I could really point out, other than Gabby Gabby, who has kind of a story arc or character arc. My bad. In this movie, so
Hmm.
uh, I think the story is a okay standalone. It's probably not my favorite story of the bunch. I kind of like it more when the whole gang is together and going on some
Yeah.
sort of adventure. But for kind of like
And
a
that's part of why for me the third one I still like the third one a little more, and it's because they're all together for the majority of the movie.
yeah, but I think for what this one was trying to do, just kind of more of a solo Woody film. I think it worked
Yeah.
how it was going. I was pretty worried about this movie uh, at some points, but really after seeing it, I am relieved and I'm excited somewhat to see. I'm not really going to go into detail. I'll probably end up making a video or somewhat talking about my ideas for this, because I have a lot of ideas and I don't really want this podcast episode to kind of drag out a whole lot longer, because um, we've already been talking for quite a while, so I could probably explain some of that stuff for quite a while, but I wouldn't be against another Toy Story film. So I'd be excited to see what they could come up with, because I originally thought that they were done at 3, and they ended up making, they ended up convincing me that stopping at 3 was not a good move at all, and that they had a good plan for 4. So I'd be excited to see what they would do with 5. I'm gonna guess it would probably have something to focus around with Buzz and Jesse, since they were kind of sidelined quite a bit in this movie. So I'm thinking that they would give them a lot more to do here. Maybe have it their own adventure of kind of love interests, because they've been hinted at that in the past. So I could see them going on some sort of adventure, but I don't know if Tom Hanks would want to reprise this role for some smaller scenes or somewhat. Maybe they could be involved in some sort of very tiny B plot where they're not in the movie a whole lot, but they're still kind of there. But I feel like if they wanted to, they could find a way. I'm not really expecting it to be anytime soon because they already have a few. I think they have 2 movies planned.
For
Already.
next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Onward, and they had one more. I forgot the name of it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Onward, it's kind of funny. Onward kind of feels like
It
the
doesn't.
first.
Yeah, Onward doesn't
It's just
feel like a Pix. It feels like a Disney animated studios movie, in my opinion.
just because of the casting. Pixar doesn't always look for like.
Big
Well, I
names.
guess
Well, I mean,
names. Yeah, they look for
they did
more
have Tom Hanks, and he was huge. He was
in the
he was already
90s.
a high.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was already pretty big in the '90s, except Forrest
But
Gump
like
came out
if you look at
later.
some of the other if you look at
Uh
some
huh.
of the other casts of some of their other movies,
Mhm.
like Bug's Life was full of 90s sitcom stars.
Mhm. Yeah.
Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. was again it was sitcom and just comedians.
Yeah.
Um, but like it's just kind of funny to think of a Pixar movie that stars Star Lord and Spider Man.
I thought it was. Oh yeah. Wait. No. No. Is it? I
Chris
thought it was.
Pratt and Tom Holland do it.
Oh, for some reason I thought it was Chris Hemsworth. My bad. Uh.
No.
Yeah. I didn't. I saw parts of the trailer. Um. I'm somewhat interested. I'll probably have to see a little bit more to, actually, kind of start wanting to see it because I haven't really. I saw bits. I think like the first minute or whatever of the trailer. I don't know. I saw part of it. I can assure that I didn't see all of it, but um, I don't know if they. I feel like this could be something cool because they're delving into the world of uh, dragons and kind of mythical creatures and stuff. So I could somewhat enjoy that, but I have to see more to be able to kind of get a footing of what I would actually think of going to see that movie. But yeah,
Yeah.
so overall with Toy Story 4, I usually like to rate my movies on a scale from 1 to 10. Sometimes I do letter grades, but I think here I have to do a number. So I'm going to give it a 9.2 out of 10. This might change. It probably will. Because this movie is the most fresh movie in my mind since it's the last movie that I watched. I haven't seen really any other movie on Netflix or anything since. So, who
Well,
knows?
that's kind of funny because I've watched 2 trilogies and another movie since I saw Toy Story 4. But
Yeah,
I have to do something when I'm not working
yeah. I mean,
besides making YouTube videos. Yeah.
yeah, watching movies is great. I know you said that you don't usually like to give ratings, so is that
Well,
kind
I'll
of
give it a letter grade just to
okay?
kind of balance you.
All right.
Um, for me, Toy Story is it's it's hard to kind of it's a special. I don't really see them as movies
Mhm.
because Toy Story 2 is the first movie I can remember seeing, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. I know you review films, but I don't know. Like my goal is to be in video producing,
Yeah.
and outside of Lego, I have shorts that I've made that I haven't done anything with, just because I haven't felt I've made anything substantial yet.
Oh yeah,
But
no, I wanna. That's why I talk so much about film and stuff, and that's why I started. I wanna become a director someday. I wanna go into the business. I've directed some short films already, and uh, in middle school actually, I won the the district film festival for my age group. Their like category. So yeah, so I'm big into that stuff. I love talking about film, and that's kind of why I started this. But yeah, my dream,
yeah,
if not, because I'm also big into basketball. I play basketball, and I don't want to. I like being humble, I guess. I don't like talking about myself in that way, but I'm just gonna say I'm somewhat good. So if that never pans out, then I always have my kind of love to direct and my willingness to direct, which could possibly lead me into a bright future. But yeah.
But so like, Toy Story isn't what inspired any of that. But so that's what I mean when I say I don't view them as movies. But like,
Yeah.
for me, movies are such a big thing, and so I have fond memories of the second one because it's the first movie I can remember seeing. And so it's literally from, I guess it probably would have been like 2000 or 2001 when I would have seen it because memory and all. But for like 18 years, I've been on this journey with the characters, and now to see, for the most part, if they never make another one, to see the journey end that way, it's an emotional experience to see those characters part ways after so many years together.
Yeah.
So, and I was always kind of hesitant about the idea of a fourth one because the third one came out at a time when I was exiting childhood, and I was kind of worried that I was going to go into that same kind of phase as Andy did.
Yeah.
And aside from Lego, every other kind of childhood thing that I cared about went away.
Yeah.
So like, that was my emotional ending to the series. I was okay with the ending there. And when they announced the fourth one, I wasn't overly enthused about it at first.
Yeah.
But I had a chance to see the teaser trailer for the fourth one in theaters around Christmas time last year, and I was going through some rough patches in my personal life, and just seeing them again on the theater screen, that was the moment that sold the movie to me. I'd already seen the teaser, but seeing it in stereo and on a theater screen, I never thought that I'd have that experience again.
Yeah. I saw the teaser on my phone when it first came out. I loved it, but there's really nothing like seeing something like that in an amplified surround sound theater. Because I remember getting chills when I saw the teaser like in a movie theater. I remember like actually getting serious chills because it was something that really impacted me so much just by seeing these guys up on the screen once again.
Yeah.
So
the only other time that's ever happened to me was getting to see the trailer for The Force Awakens in theaters.
Yeah.
Because for me, Star Wars is a big part of my life too. But I didn't see any of the movies until Revenge of the Sith was on DVD. So that was like late 2005 when I first saw the movies.
Yeah.
So I never, from 2006 to 2012 when Disney bought it, I never thought that I'd get that experience. I never thought I'd get to see a Star Wars movie in theaters.
Yeah.
Then Disney bought it and they announced it, and there was nothing really for a long time. We knew they were making it, but we knew nothing about the movie. But to get those first teasers and to see those on a theater screen and to see the Falcon flying with the sound effects in theaters,
yeah,
that was the same kind of experience.
Yeah.
Because you never think you're going to see that
Yeah.
again. So, from that perspective, Toy Story 4, for me, is an A, not an A+, because there's some flaws that I have and personal differences about how the ending was written.
Yeah.
But overall, I feel over time my enjoyment of it will improve. I mean, I've only seen it once, so I need to see it. Like, I haven't even picked out any of the real Easter eggs yet. There's a few that I noticed that I thought were really cool. There's a callback to Ellie's badge from Up
Yeah.
which I looked on a website that where they were talking about Easter eggs, and I didn't see anyone mention that one yet, so I thought that was kind of cool to
There's
see.
the Kenner,
Yeah,
Obi-Wan, and Ponda Baba action figures in the pinball machine. There's
and he cuts off his arm, and there's the Willem scream in the
mhm.
background.
There's a scene where the record player is being played and it plays the song from the final scene. Have you ever seen The Shining?
Mm.
Mm, no.
Sorry, I'm just taking a drink. I haven't seen the movie in full, but I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's towards the end. It zooms into this photograph of the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I've seen that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that song is played from that scene in this movie, which I thought was cool, and I found that out after looking up stuff. But yeah, so so we're basically kind of on the same page because a 9.2 is around an A grade, maybe an A minus, but still A.
However,
Somewhat.
I'm against your claim of a fifth one. For me,
Yeah.
I feel like it needs to end here.
That's why I'm
I
gonna.
mean,
That's why I'm gonna make a standalone video where
yeah,
I just talk about it because that can give me time to bring up points and stuff like that. So I don't really.
yep.
I didn't want to talk about too much here, but so stay tuned, everyone. I guess for that video coming out, but yeah. So I don't really have too much left to say. I don't really have really anything to say at all. If you want to say something or if you have anything left on your mind.
No, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, everyone. Thank you for
Well,
watching episode 2 of EH Films. Go subscribe to Samsonite Bricks. Link is down low in the description. Go follow him on Instagram. Hopefully he will be uploading soon and maybe more consistently soon. So
well, the hope is to do that. I mean, yeah. I mean, well, it's funny because I actually do end up buying, like, there'll be a stretch where I'll buy a few sets, but I just don't really want to set up and like record a video on it because like I kind of prefer doing like the vlogging of building. It's just missed opportunities as
mhm.
well.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping. I kind of want to. There's some sets coming out soon that be looking to get. August will probably be a good month because I'm looking at changing my work hours in August, so I'll be able to maybe upload a little more consistently, and that's when a lot of new sets come out. So
Yeah.
you know, I'll be looking to get some early.
Mhm.
I did actually. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I was the first person, one of the first reviewers of the Hydro Man Bridge Battle set.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it on like the first week of April
Yeah.
because a store just put it on shelves. But I know it didn't release till like the last week of April. So
Yeah. Well, reviewing some sets early, it can be something that can blow up your channel, or it could just get the same amount that
yeah,
a views that it always does. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a risk because you're not really risking anything to get
yeah,
it. Because if you're already planning on getting the set and you get it
yeah.
early,
I know my I think the video I have the most views on right now is I reviewed the 20th anniversary snow speeder 2 weeks early.
oh, you did.
Yeah, and I wasn't the first. I unfortunately, in the time it took to upload my video and call it the first review of it on YouTube,
Mhm.
Jang beat me to it.
Yeah.
I was the second review.
Well.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me so much. I'll definitely
yeah,
have you
no
back
problem.
on the podcast some time down the road. Um, but yeah, so thank you everyone for watching episode 2 of EH Films. I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.